Pooh
We're on
Shiesty.
to the next one. Going right down the list. I gave Mike a Pooh Shiesty record. And for people who aren't familiar with Pooh Shiesty, he's this Memphis rapper who's getting a lot of buzz right now because he has this song that's kind of a smash right now called Back in Blood with Lil Durk feature. And Lil Durk been going crazy, you know what I mean? He's been going crazy on everything he touches, and it's bringing a lot of attention. Everything he touches is bringing a lot of attention. But Pooh Shiesty's another rapper out of Memphis, and there's a couple rappers out of Memphis that have been making waves in these past couple of years. So he's kind of just the next one. And yeah, man, he's just kind of bubbling up in the streets right now, bro. He's just kind of bubbling up in the streets. And I gotta keep it 100. Like, I only really know this record because I've been spending more time at the studio with my friends who listen to more of this type of music. You know what I mean? Like, I will always confess, like, I'm not a trap dude, a street dude, and so I'm also not listening to that kind of music all the time. You feel me? But eventually, I think no matter what genre or style it is, like, good music is kind of good music. And I think even after the initial like resistance to it that I even had, I eventually heard it and I was like, oh, I get it now. Because the chorus to me was catchy. The bars, you know, his real deep voice, like, you know, all of that is really catchy. And then Dirk's verse kind of went off. So it's getting real hot right now. You know, it's kind of buzzing up. And I think Pooh Shiesty's kind of on that cusp of crossing over to mainstream. So I think this is a real good record for you to review, and I wanted to hear your feel on it because it is hot right now. It has a buzz, but I think it's going to be even more interesting when I think a couple months down the line, you know, there's a potential that he becomes like a regular name that we consistently talk about. So I'd love to get, you know, the take that you have at this point, at this juncture.
So after listening to this record a bunch of times and listening to all your songs a bunch of times, I can't get into this one, man. It's not for me, man. I can't do it. And I tried. I really did. It's just not my cup of tea. There's nothing horrendous about this song. I'll just put it this way. Like, I can't sit here and bash it because I don't hate the song. You know what I mean? It's not one of those things I was like, oh my God, my ear. You know what I mean? I just didn't find it that enamoring or intriguing, really. Like, I think he has this kind of like Pooh Shiesty does, has this kind of like almost like too cool for school tone, no pun intended, but and delivery that it's slick sounding, but I almost feel like it's uninspired and it doesn't just do much for me as a listener. It's just not my typical subgenre of hip hop, and I do like some trap. I don't hate trap music by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not that. This just doesn't do it for me. And then the one thing though that drives me up a wall about this song is the piano sample. Because it literally sounds like do re mi fa sol la ti. If you've ever heard that, like, it literally has that like cadence to it, and I was like what? It's so it's so basic. So that's why I don't like it. And there's a lot of things about this that just feel I don't know, man.
It's just so basic.
It's just basic.
I just don't like it.
It's not for me. It's not. This song is not made for me.
Clip this for Instagram. Clip this, Mike, Sam, whoever. Clip this now, because I need to see on Instagram. It's just so basic. I don't like it.
It is. It's just, listen, bro. Listen to that piano sample on here, and then tell me, and go listen to go YouTube like do re mi. I guarantee you'll be like, okay, I get it. Like I don't really care for this. Again, I don't hate it. It's not like I'm not passionately like against this song. Like, if you like this, like, more power to you. Like, it's not one of those things where it's like I hear like a 6ix9ine song and I'm ready to like I want to like hate it so freaking much, right? Like it's not even in that realm for me. You know, so this isn't a bad song. It's just not what I typically enjoy. And I know we have another song later on with Lil Durk on Wednesday's episode, or this part 2 of this. And I don't find Lil Durk as impressive. It's done not to spoil it. I don't want to get too much into that song, but I found Lil Durk to be very impressive on that song. This one I don't find him to be as impressive on. I just it's typical of what I would expect him to sound like, but also like, and on the other breath too, I've heard him in different facets. Like I've heard him on, like I really liked his song on the Wale Wow That's Crazy album from 2019, and he was really good on Bia's Same Hands song. So like, and the song that we're gonna talk about, like I said on the part 2 of this episode. But yeah, overall, man, I don't have as much to say about this one. It's just, it's just okay. It's basic.
I think it's so funny. I think it's so funny, and I suggested this to you, and me and Mike talked, over phone, where I was just like, I'm excited to hear what you think, because I know it's not really your thing, you know what I mean? And but I also know so many people this is their thing, you know what I mean? And even me, myself, I think we should definitely, or both of us, we should acknowledge that, a lot of this stuff doesn't resonate, because I think it's not super relatable for guys like us,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I'm by no means trying to front, But then I obviously there's to counter that, it's like music is music, and music can kind of be appreciated by anybody who's open-minded enough to hear it. And I think with me, initially hearing it, I'm hearing my friends play it, I'm like not really excited about it at all. And then I gave myself a couple more listens, and then the flow just started getting more and more catchy. And then here's what I think, what you were kind of pointing out as to why you don't like it is like, it's very accurate in terms of like, that's going to be the determining factor for certain people, is like that laid back, kind of slick, kind of too cool for school is the way you say, and other people call it swag, other people call it drippy, it's like, I think that kind of swagger though is what, it's like hit or miss for somebody. It's like either like it comes off as like too nonchalant and uninspired, or to other people it comes off as confident and braggadocious, and it comes off as it almost even tough, especially when you're putting it together with the lyrics they're talking about. And I do think a big part of people who enjoy trap music who can't necessarily relate to it, I think the other part is like, like some people just like the feeling you get when you hear some bars that are real street grimy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you can believe it, and this is another big part, it's like when you believe the artist themselves, right? And I think that's also why Pooh Shiesty's getting a lot of the attention that he's getting, is because he's making these kind of nonchalant, cool trap street records, and then he also has a certain image that people are buying into and believe. And so if you don't even necessarily, and that's why like the visuals can be a big part of this, right? Like if you don't necessarily can't put a face to it, or can't really believe what these people are saying outright, then I think you listen to the song differently. And then on the other side of like, if you fully are believing and buying into the image and are and can relate to the image, then I think the song comes off very, very differently. But I gotta say, for me personally, I think the more and more I listened to it, I thought the melody and just like the chorus I think it's a banger. I think the chorus is kind of a banger. Don't need security, got my own fire in the club. Beefing on the net. I thought you was a thug.
You bring up some valid points, and I see your angle for sure, and I think the point you made about it sounding confident, that's valid. I totally agree, and that's why I'm not here to necessarily bash it like it's a bad song. I just feel like I've heard this before. It's not really like super. Again, it's for me, it's a little uninspired, but again, it's not a bad song. If people like this song, more power to them. It's just not going to be something that I'm going to replay.
You should say you hate it. That way we can be clickbaity and get a whole lot of people in our comments really upset. You know what I mean? Because I think that's the way content goes, right? Like we want to be as polarizing as possible. So
I mean, one phrase from Taylor Swift's Folklore album has gotten me a lot of hate on YouTube. So
Mike's getting heat.
I'm getting heat.
Where the Pooh Shiesty stands at? I'm trying to hear them eat you up.
Yeah, is that what you want? Do you want me to say I hate Pooh Shiesty? Because that one, it wouldn't
clip
even make sense.
Clip it. Clip it.
The caption: Turntable Teacher's host hates Pooh Shiesty.
Yeah. Dude,
not even close.
And I honestly, I love having. I think part of the dope part about music conversations and other people can be honest about, like, it doesn't hit for me.
Exactly. It's all subjectivity. So I mean,
Yeah.
and that can be. So we'll see. I'm sure that's why I'm glad we again disagree on certain things. It's not good to obviously just be like, oh yeah, it's sick, it's sick, it's sick. Like that doesn't open like the discourse for this type of stuff.
Right.
But